Taking the time out of your day to join us. You're here listening to Chisme y Chords, where faith, music, and real conversations connect. I am your host, Mercedes Renee.
And I'm your other host, Almisa Valdez. And today, listeners and followers, we have a very special guest whose story is anything but ordinary. He's a longtime investigator, former chief detective from the hit television show Cheaters, and now he's taken his talents from solving cases to making movies. Please welcome a man who has spent decades uncovering secrets, chasing the truth, and now bringing his own stories to the big screen. Mr. Daniel Gomez, welcome to Cheese Me Chords.
How you ladies doing today?
How are
We are
you?
doing amazing. Thank you
Mm.
so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us. We are so elated to have you. Tell us what is going on in the life of Mr. Daniel Gomez at the moment.
Right now, this minute, this hour, I am returning calls from clients that think their husbands are cheating on them,
Oh
and
my
I've been
gosh.
doing that for the last 2 hours, and it's kept me pretty busy on a Monday.
Wow. Tell me, how does that work? Like, how does that
The
make you
life.
feel? Go ahead.
How does it work? Well, usually what happens is a lot of people usually start cheating from Thursday through Sunday. And then on Monday, the spouses decide to make a phone call. So today's like my day to return phone calls from over the weekend.
Wow. How does that make you feel mentally? Is it very draining to go through all of that, to have to go behind the scenes and watch all of the negativity and that happens between a spouse and the couple? Is it very draining for you?
It can be, and there are some clients that can be a little more draining than others. The ones that are a little bit more demanding, and but I try to explain to them that this has been going on for a while. I can't just make it happen in one day. I mean, this has been happening for a while. This is an investigation, just like a police investigation.
Right.
So let's put something together and let's put a plan together, whether it's your husband or wife, and let's go through a process and try to get you some results.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, so we're not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about your Amazon Prime movie,
Yes.
Wrong Place, Wrong Time. So tell us about this movie, how it came about, and tell us about it. Tell us everything.
The movie, came about we shot it about a year ago. Like right now, we'd be shooting last year, but before then, I put about a year before that, I start writing things down, and I had lunch with a friend of mine, and we were both in law enforcement together, and I kept telling him, I said, Tony, I want to put a movie together. And he goes, well, I mean, how many more years are you going to wait to do it? And I go, you know what? This year we're going to do it. So I put a small script together, and they always told. And I used to work on this TV show called Cheaters. So my friends used to go, Danny, if you ever do something, put it on paper. And I go, you're right. So this time I put it on paper, put some structure to it, but I was going to do it this time. So I looked around, found some camera guys, found some people that wanted to be in the movie, found some locations where to shoot at, and started piecing everything together. And then I said, okay, I found the right camera guys, I found the right actors, and I said, okay, I found who was going to be who, and I go, I'm doing it. I just started shooting. It took us about 3 months to shoot the whole film, and then got it to an editing. And you want to tell a story, right, in a movie, so we put a storyline together and told the whole story within an hour and 30 minutes, and then after editing, it cut it down to about an hour and 13 minutes.
Nice. I love that. So what made you come up with the story?
Just I wanted to do something kind of funny. I'm a little bit older. I'm not young, but I'm not too old. But my buddy in the movie, we used to watch the old Stallone movies and the Schwarzenegger movies. I said, let's put some good one-liners in the movie and just tell a funny story. So we came up with the story about an Asian guy named Mr. Wong, who me and my buddy partner in the movie, we took care of his dad many years ago, and his son wants revenge against me for taking out his dad. And so he comes back and starts committing crimes in Dallas, in the Deep Ellum, East Dallas area. And he gets a hold of Tony first. They beat him up. And then after that, I try to help Tony out. Then I get beat up. And then there's a montage. And then there's a big fight scene in the end. And everybody's fighting. And the good guys win in the end.
It's always the
Oh,
good guys who win at the end.
Yes, has to be. I had to explain it to the bad guys. I said, "You realize the good guys are going to win, right?" And I said, "Okay, just want to make sure you got that." You know, but I will tell you this: that putting a movie together, you have to always think about the storyline, actors, dependable people, being on time, and we do some stunts in the movie where we're actually fighting, so we had to hire a stunt team to fight with. But you got to always ask yourself, can you actually do the stunt?
right.
Because you might want to do something in the movie and you go, can I really do this? And you got to rehearse it, you got to practice it, and then you got to do it when they say action. And it can be challenging sometimes, especially if they don't get it in the first take. You got to do it like 5 different times before they actually get it. But it's all part of making movies.
I love it. So let me ask you this. Now that you have the actor bug and you've done a movie, are you going to want to continue to do it?
I would really, really like to do a part 2. Just
Nice.
we had a premiere with our good buddy Ricky Rincon went to also back in
Oh, okay.
June 30th, on June 29th, I'm sorry, this year. And everybody enjoyed the movie. They kept asking, they kept wanting more. They go, we want this, what happened to this person in the movie? What happened to that person in the movie? Are you going to do a part 2? And I go, well, I've thought about it, but I haven't put anything on paper yet. They go, yeah, you got to do a part 2. Go Wes. And I go, okay, I'll start working on it. But if the budget's there, we'd probably start shooting next year sometime, if it's possible.
That's
But
amazing.
I love the acting, directing, producing. I loved it all.
Nice. So if a part two comes out and that does amazing, so maybe you should start um, producing and making movies.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, you could. I mean, if you look at movies like Rush Hour, they got Rush
Mhm.
Hour 1, Rush Hour 2, Rush Hour
True.
3, Rush Hour 4. I think 4 now. It's in production right now. So if it does well, we can just do a spin off of each ending of the movie and try to make something different.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look at Fast and the Furious. There's like
Yeah,
25,000 of them already.
yeah,
So, I mean, it's like good grief.
yeah. You're right. They're in production right now on the last Fast and the Furious.
I know.
So
They always say this is the last one, and then another one comes out, and then this is the
right.
last one, and then another one comes out. Same with Jurassic Park. There's like 25,000 Jurassic Parks out there. So it's just
Yeah,
like, good grief. How many dinosaurs are there?
yeah.
Is
How many Rockies are there? How many Rambos are there? I mean, they got
right.
multiple. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Right. I mean, I can never get tired of seeing Sylvester Stallone. Like even, I mean, he's amazing, but still, you can only box for so long. You can only teach for so but still, oh my gosh. So, what made you? Because I'm going to go back into your job that you're doing now.
Mhm.
What made you get into that line of work?
I just like working. I like working personally for people
Yeah.
individually, as
Mhm.
opposed to working abroad. I think people appreciate you more um, for what you do for them individually.
Right.
I had someone text me the other day, helped this man find his son, who
Oh,
was the mother had left and she didn't tell him where she was living at. And I found her car, and it's about 3 weeks ago. And he actually sent me a text message over the weekend and said, hey, Detective Gomez, the information you gave us really helped us. And can I give you a 5-star review and just tell you thank you for everything you've done for us, and we're never
oh,
going to forget you. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, sure, if you want to. I appreciate that. There's no, really, the information you gave us was spot on. And we ended up, the information you gave us, we went out there and found her, and everybody's happy. That's okay. Fantastic. So when you hit things like that, it makes you just want to keep doing it again for people individually.
I love that. I love that you're not only like helping people in that way, but you're
Mhm.
also helping people. I hate that people have to go that far
Right.
into having to hire somebody that their spouse is cheating or the boyfriend
Mhm.
girlfriend is cheating or whatever. I hate that they have to go that far,
Mhm.
but I'm glad that they have people like you out there that they can find resources to help. I just hate that they have to go that far, but I do also like the fact that you're out there helping people find children, or you're out there helping
Yeah.
people find lost loved ones, or that. I love that. So thank you for that.
Sure.
For
No,
doing.
I love doing it because people think they connect me with the TV show Cheaters and go, oh man, you just love catching cheaters. I said, I do everything. I mean, I've helped people find lost loved ones, help people find, lots of times, teenagers or when teenagers go through this age of, 17 through 21, sometimes they can't quite find themselves and they
Right.
disappear.
Yeah.
The mom will call me up, hey, my son, we got into an argument. I'm trying to find him. I just want to make sure he's okay. I'll help them find him and make everybody happy or try to connect them back together and get them to communicate again and become a family again. So I do all kinds of things.
Wow, that has to be so rewarding when you help find the kids or the lost ones or whatever. That has to be so rewarding when you're able to find them.
It can be, but also you got to kind of know when to step out of it.
So,
I had a
yeah,
case a long
they're
time
really
ago where had a mother find her daughter, and I was on a three-way call with them, and they start, the mother was like, no, the daughter was looking for the mom, and they connected with each other, and they started crying on the phone, and it was a really, moment, and then the daughter goes, okay, mom, so why'd you leave us such a long time ago?
Uh,
I go, okay, I gotta go.
like time to go. My part's done. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta know when to step away from it. So
Right.
that's when you gotta step away.
got it.
And I got to ask you, since you stated it's your investigator, what motivated you to have that career?
Just like I said, just really enjoy working for people individually and personally, and you get more appreciation out of it than you do like in law enforcement and those type of things, where the it's there's a lot of negativity and you don't always get appreciated for what you do. But working for somebody individually, like I said, it can go through generations sometimes, and you become the right person to call to, where something happens. Hey, Detective Gomez, can you help me with this? Or Detective Gomez, can you help me with that? Or you're their friend forever, really. And I really enjoy that.
Nice. Something different, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something different. It's something different where you can help anybody, and then you can explain to people the law, what you can do and what you can't do. A lot of people sometimes these days they get confused on what they see on television, and then what you can really do. And in a part of our Latin community, I do have women sometimes that call me and they go, Detective Gomez, I was watching, Univision, and this investigator on TV found who this girl was by a strand of her hair. And I go, well, doesn't quite work like that. That's actually a novella. It's not really. It's a drama they put
Not
together.
you, right?
It doesn't quite work that fast.
Yeah.
Or can you just go into the house and put cameras in there? I said, no, you can't do that. That's TV. And I have to sometimes explain to some of our people that you can't do things like that.
Has there ever been a moment that you've wanted to give up?
Sometimes, depending on what kind of case it was, but you always have to explain to them. It's always a process. It's not, it doesn't happen all in 24 or 48 hours. Sometimes it can, but you have to explain there's a process, and it just doesn't happen that way. And you can also explain to them the legal things you can do and what's illegal and what's not legal, because they can get confused on what they see on television a whole lot.
Yeah. Okay. That's understandable.
Yeah. Brilliant. But
But
in the movie, I do play a private investigator in the movie. So I play.
You got to take your skills to them.
Yeah.
You said you have to.
Yeah.
okay, so speaking of movies, what's one movie everybody loves that you think and that you don't like?
A movie that everybody loves.
Everybody loves you think and that you don't like.
Um,
I can tell you one of mine right now, and that
I think one is not that I don't like it. It's just not my genre. You know what I mean? I think my little nieces love watching that movie called Wizard. Is that what it's called? Wizard? Is that the Wizard of Oz movie that came out recently? That I think what's her name was in it. I forgot what her name.
Ariana
And
Grande.
yes, and there's a sing along, and all my nieces were singing, and I'm like, okay, I get it. They go, you don't like this? I said, said, this is not my thing. I'm sorry, but when my nieces came to see my movie, at, I said, this isn't a sing along. I do sing in the movie, but this isn't a sing along movie. Just let FYI, okay? Just are you okay with that? And they love the movie also. So without being in another Wizard part 2 or part 3, they enjoyed the movie.
Almisa, what is yours?
Excuse me?
Almisa, what is yours?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
No, I was asking Almisa, what is hers? You're on mute.
Oh, my bad. I said I'm not much of a TV person. I don't know.
Mine is Dumb and Dumber. Mine is Dumb and Dumber. Like
Oh, really?
everybody loves Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, I know what mine is. You know what? I Superstar. I don't know why, but I love the way she performs and makes everybody laugh. What is it, Molly Ringwald? Is that not the main one from Superstar? You know how she's all, you're horrible, horrible. That's my favorite scene.
It's supposed to be a movie that you don't like, that everybody else likes.
What's that?
That everybody else likes that you don't like.
Oh.
Okay, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What would be your biggest guilty pleasure movie, you think?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I like watching the Stallone, the Schwarzenegger movies. I enjoy watching them over and over again. I always, because there's always like I said, I really enjoy watching. In the early '90s, the Rush Hours, what was his name? Mel Gibson movies earlier.
Oh yeah.
There's always like the good guys that win at the end.
Yeah.
That's
and the formats are usually the same. There's something happens in the beginning, and then they get to the storyline, and then they're after the good guys and the bad guys. There's a big fight scene in the end, and then there's ambulances, police officers, and somebody getting carried into an ambulance, and it ends that way. So I've really enjoyed those kind of movies. So I try to make my movies something like that with a smaller budget.
Got it. So what do you want people to remember about you, not just as an actor and as an investigator, but as you as a person?
I think the biggest thing is just being humble and being honest with people about different things. I know in my business, I am very honest with people. Like that client I mentioned to you, I said, this is all I can do for you right now. And he goes, that's fine. We'll take it from here. And then he calls me 3 weeks later. And he goes, I appreciate you just telling us the truth. I don't promise people anything I can do if I can't do it. And I think just being humble at the end of the day.
Yeah. And how do you think you stay spiritually grounded through all of this? Because I know there's ups and downs, highs and lows. So how do you think that you stay spiritually grounded through all of this?
I think I just think before I react. I think sometimes you think things through, and it keeps you grounded without making immediate decisions. I never try to take on more business than I can, because I always try to give each one of my clients their devoted attention when it comes to their case. But you can in any type of business, you can take on more business than you can. Then you get unsatisfied customers. So I try to keep myself grounded, just take enough business, of course, pay the bills, but then also enough to where I can give each one of my clients their devoted attention when it comes to their case.
That's good. What do you think keeps you motivated? Like when things aren't necessarily going your way, what do you think keeps you motivated through all of that?
Just getting the answers for the clients. I had a case the other day where this lady had said, well, how do I know you're a real investigator? And I go, well, you can Google me if you like. She goes, well, I need to see a copy of your ID and your license number. And I showed her everything. She was, because somebody else scammed me, and I just want to make sure you are a real person. And I go, well, I'm a real person. I'll meet you in person if you like. I said, you know what? I'll tell you what. I'm not even going to charge anything right now. I'm going to go work for you first, and then I'm going to let you pay me. How's that? And she goes, okay. And then I found out where her husband, they had just separated. I found out where her husband was living at. And she goes, oh, wow, you're the real deal. I told you. She goes, no, but you found my husband. I said, yeah. She goes, okay, Detective Gomez, you call the shots now. And I go, okay, I'll call the shots. Whatever you want. She goes, you make up the hours, you did the job, and how much do I owe you? And I sent her a bill, So
Wow.
sometimes you got to kind of, you get people who don't know what happened with hiring somebody else, but I was able to give her the answer she wanted. I didn't try to overcharge her up front, because you can do that sometimes. So you're going to pay me this amount of money before I do anything. I said, I'm going to gamble on myself and just give her the results she needed. And after that, now we're friends forever. Like, okay, Detective Gomez, you tell me what you think and you do it your way. And I'm like, okay, I'm glad you're happy.
No, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Who has supported you throughout your whole journey, like as a detective and as an actor? Who has been your biggest supporter?
My biggest support is just family have
Mhm.
supported you. You got to really be close. I'm really a big family person. I'm really close to my sisters and my daughter and my nieces and everybody else just supports you. Like, everybody came out. So for the premiere that we had, and they were all there. I think at first they thought I was a little crazy when I told them I was putting a film together. And they go, "Oh, really?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, I'm putting a film together, like a movie." And I go, "Okay, Uncle Danny." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm serious. Trust me." And now that they're able to Google it and see it on Prime Video or Apple Plus TV, they're like, "Wow, you really did it." I said, "I told you." So I think the family is the best I have.
I love that. Family is everything.
No,
Without family, you're pretty much nothing.
yeah,
So,
you're in this world alone. Yeah.
right, correct. What has been your biggest challenge, do you think, in your acting career?
The acting career, being a producer and then a
Mhm.
writer and then directing is the biggest challenge is being able to, you have to keep an eye on everybody
Right.
because at the end of the day, and it's, even the credits, you know, if I got your name spelled wrong, if you're in the film, you might be looking for that one part where your name's at. And you got my
Right.
name wrong. I know everybody's lines now, but being able to go through the film, look at it over and over and over. I think I must have looked at it like about 50 times, just final cut, final cut, final cut, but double checking transition, just making sure that the product came out as best as it could, so the audience could watch it. Where it's maybe adding sound effects, maybe what they're called transition shots from one scene to another, or did we need something in this scene? Was it necessary? Can we cut it out? Or there was 4 or 5 seconds of silence? Can we add some sounds to make that particular scene better? Whatever it took to make each particular scene better, so that when the product came out, people would enjoy it and enjoy the film at the end of the day. But you've got to keep an eye on everything.
I love
Real
that.
time.
Okay, I have a quick question. I've always wondered. So you know how you make sounds in the movie, how you always sometimes see in YouTube that they're always like crumpling the paper or they're always something to make the sound.
Right.
So is that legit?
That's legit. Yeah. If you watch the film, there's a part where I'm getting ready to fight this guy, and he goes like this, right? And we didn't have any sound effects for that. I said, put a sound effect with him popping his neck, and so we added that sound effect in there, and then we did what they call what ADR is where, and then right after, because it's funny because it was like a 6 seconds of silence when he goes like this, and then it cuts to us fighting, and I go, wait a minute, I don't want to cut that silence out, so let's have him add some sound effects, and then I'm going to say, hey, tough guy, let's see what you got, and then let's start fighting. So
Mhm.
we added that audio to that particular scene, so we didn't have to cut that particular silence out. So we saved like 10 seconds of video. And
Okay.
when you make movies, and when you make movies, even my distributor go, how long is your movie? Because they want to know, and it's down to 1 hour and 13 minutes flat. Now, when we first started editing, it was like an hour and 35 minutes. We started cutting this out, cutting that out, cutting this out, to make the movie flow and make the story tell. But they want to know it's specific to exactly how long that film is. And that's
Wow.
something you have to answer when you get ready to distribute your film.
So like the swishing sound of the wind, the swishing sound of whatever. So you have to make all of that noise.
Yeah, you have to make, if it's not there, you got to add it to it. Or even like if you see the film, I get beat up in this interrogation scene, and there's a little boom 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 boom, and these guys are punching me, and we're adding sound effects to that to make the punches sound better on camera.
I love that. I love that. I like all the little intricacies. I like the, the crumpling of the paper or whatever that you
Oh
have
yeah,
to actually make that sound. I love that. I love all of that. I love
oh
the
yeah,
behind
yeah.
the scenes stuff like so much. Like I would be that girl like, ooh, who's crumpling the paper? Like, ooh, who's this? I would want to be behind the scenes. Like I want to see it all. Like I love stuff like that for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there's a part where I do a drop kick in the movie, and I drop kick these guys, the bad guys, and they go flying against the wall, and we have to add, a little extra sound effect of them hitting the wall and getting knocked out. So it's just different things like that you got to do to make your movie sound better and look better.
I love it. I love stuff like that for sure. Okay, so we are going to play a little game of this or that, and Almisa's going to give you the roles.
Instrucciones.
Okay.
There's no wrong answers, but there's only one answer.
Okay. Fair enough.
And I'm not in control or in charge of the questions either.
Okay. You're just reading them.
So let's see what Mercedes has today.
All right. Hero or villain?
Hero.
Comedy or drama?
Comedy.
Action or romance?
Action.
Leading role or supporting role?
Leading.
Movie theater or streaming?
Movie theater.
Oh, okay. Red carpet or behind the scenes?
Red carpet.
Okay. Memorize the lines or improvise?
Memorize a line. You got to know your lines. Or yeah, it's important to know that.
Yeah. Director or actor?
I guess director and both, I guess.
No, you can only pick one.
Oh, I would say actor.
Okay. Stunt scene or emotional scene?
Stunt scene.
Oh, come on. Classic movie or new release?
Classic.
Same. Horror or thriller?
Thriller.
hmm Film or television?
Film.
Oscar or Golden Globes?
Oscar.
Play yourself or completely transform?
Play myself.
And last but not least, big budget blockbuster or independent film?
Independent.
Nice. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. When we made this film, I played Detective Gomez in the film,
Mhm.
and my partner in the movie, I've known him for like 40 years. So we were laughing about it because they go, man, y'all's chemistry is so good. Well, we only known each other for 40 years. So it's easy for us to play ourselves because we kid around a whole lot. So it was easy for us. Our chemistry is there because we just know. It's the same guy I've had lunch with once a week for the last 3 years and saying, I'm going to do this. So we finally did it together.
Nice. I probably know the answer to this question.
Okay.
But if you could act with any actor in Hollywood, who would it be? I probably already know, but go ahead.
What's it start with?
Arnold.
Stallone.
I was gonna say Stallone.
Really? You've been saying nothing about Arnold through this whole interview.
I
And
can
it's
see him. You know where
I said Stallone and Schwarzenegger's movies, so Stallone would be my first pick, but Arnold would be my second.
Okay.
I
All
can
right.
see him. You know how he runs up in the Rocky movie and he's like, yeah.
Well, and in my movie, after I get beat up, I do a montage, like a Rocky thing, where I have to start exercising, getting in shape, going to boxing, taking karate, taking yoga, and different things like that to get back in shape so we can get ready to fight the bad guys at the end of the movie.
Okay. Have you had any fan interactions?
I usually, I think people are still trying to get it.
Yeah.
I get more, if you want to call fan interactions from the TV series Cheaters.
I was going to ask. Yeah, probably more from Cheaters for sure.
Yeah, because I was at a place in Dallas called All Shucks. It's a little seafood place, and I walked in and I was talking to somebody, and this guy goes, Gomez. Yeah, Cheaters, right? And I go, yeah, yeah. He goes, I heard your voice as soon as you walked in. I knew that was you. And I go, I appreciate that. And of course, it just there's fan or I get somebody that'll say something. Hey, I know who you are. You busted this girl at this particular place in Dallas. Do you know she's still single? And I go, that was in 2004. Probably not. Oh, I thought these were new episodes. I said, no, those are reruns, sir. Oh, wow. Okay. Do you know how to get a hold of her? I was like, sir, that was in 2004. Okay. But I appreciate you watching the show. Thanks.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is too funny.
Wow. Did he ever even imagine going on a show like that? I mean, what were your feelings when being asked and exposed
I had
to the truth, basically?
I had a small ad in a magazine called Dallas, called D Magazine, and the producer had called me. He said, hey, we're thinking about putting this TV show together. Would you be interested in being head of the investigation for the TV show? And I was like, sure, why not? Okay. It's not coming out yet, but it's in development. I said, yeah, I'll help you out. And so I'd start working on the show and just doing things. They go, yeah, we're getting on the air. And back then, and this is back in 1998, it took a while to get a show on television. And then it just kind of blossomed after that. And the next thing you know, people are like, yeah, you work on Cheaters. He works on Cheaters. And I'm like, yeah. We see you every weekend. I go, oh, really? Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, it ended up being
I remember it being exposed, but real late at night, I believe, is whenever it first started coming out. It's like the late night show, or like
at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, it came out. Yeah. It came out. Then it went to 10 o'clock. So it went to 10 o'clock, and then it had a 30-minute show at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Yep, I remember. I remember the cameras coming out and like putting the lights on, like bright light. It was it was something. It was popular. It was super popular
for sure. Yeah.
The vans, the wide vans, and everybody came out.
Yes. It was crazy. I want to give a shout out to Mr. Joe Leal. He says, "Hello, beautiful amigas, Mercedes Renee and Almisa Valdez. Best wishes to you, Daniel." I want to give a shout out to Ms. Heather Jolene Alcantar, who just so happens to be our sponsor. She believes in our vision, and I love you so much. So I want to give a shout out to everybody who is watching. Thank you so much. We love you. So yes. What advice would you give somebody who wants to break out into the acting scene?
I would say know what you're getting into first. Maybe ask questions. This is film. What they call a film short or film feature. Shorts, 10 or 15 minutes, and that's it. And if it's a feature, and those are good to get practice. A feature film is obviously something, about an hour long, at least. But find out, and then where's the film going to go after that? What's the film about? What are my lines? Will I get my lines in advance? And you have to, and then if you decide you want to be an actor, are you prepared to be there on time, especially if you're a leading actor, if you're going to be there on time and be able to go through the whole process of the whole film? Because if you're playing a lead, it's a little bit different than being an extra or a co-star. But if you're going to be playing the lead, you got to take responsibility on your character, get to know your character, and you got to be there on time. And I'll give you an example. My buddy that plays a part in the movie, our first day of shooting with him, he goes, man, I can't make it today. Can we just do it tomorrow? I go, no, we can't. I've got 15 people scheduled to be here. You can't just do it tomorrow. You committed to being here, and you got to be here, and you got to have your lines down. Because if you get there, even if you're there on time and you don't practice your lines a little bit, it hurts the whole production, because then you're holding back production. Yeah. Because everybody's got a schedule. So you've got to, if you're going to commit to do something, I know that it takes about an hour to 2 hours to set up your particular scene. Yeah. But then you got to have the actors ready to go. You got to have your makeup on. We had a couple of times where girls would show up and, well, I don't have my makeup on yet. Well, I said, well, get over there and get it done. We're shooting in 15 minutes. You got to be ready. You got to show up on set ready to go. But you got to mentally tell yourself, if you're going to commit to do this, you got to be there on. If they tell you to be there on time, be there on a certain time. Do not be late. Nice. Okay. Yeah,
That I feel like that's right. And when it comes to being an actor, when it comes to being a
mhm.
singer, when it comes to being anything
Yeah,
related, it's just if you want to be serious about something, then you got to take um, your role serious. You got to take your job serious. You got to just take everything serious because if you don't, then it's just slacking.
yeah. And then me as a producer for the movie, I had to be on every scene that was shot, and then I
Right.
had to be there early. So if this is going to be my production, I have to show everybody else, hey, even though I'm not in this particular scene, I'm still here. I'm here early. We're going to talk about how this is going to be shot on film, and I had to be there for everything. So I had to lead by example, because if you don't lead by example, then you're late. They're like, well, he's the producer's late. Why should I be on time? So you've got to lead by example and show people, hey, you got to be on time.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too, if I shoot something with you in the film, for example, a scene, then all of a sudden you go, you know what, I just don't have time for this. Well, then I've got to go back and reshoot that scene with somebody else to make
Right.
up for that. So it's you got to really commit to it. If you're going to do it, commit to it and give it everything. Be prepared to take off work or whatever you got. Get up early, whatever you got to do to be there.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think is something people don't know about you?
I think they don't. I think people don't. I think they in the movie I drink mojitos in the movie, right? I think that people think I drink mojitos all the time. I don't drink all the time, but I do like a good mojito. But I think people just think that I just live my life catching people cheating all the time. And I said, no, I mean I actually have a life. I like to just sit back. I like to sit by the pool and just relax and take it easy and not work sometimes, but sometimes duty calls and I'm out there doing what I have to do. But I do like to relax and just take it easy sometimes and just watch a
So,
good movie.
so do you have a schedule? Do you have like a set schedule that you actually work, or do you take calls like all the time, or do you have like a set schedule for yourself?
I set my schedule on Monday for the whole week. Each week, my schedule will change depending on what kind of cases I'm taking. And like I said, I don't overtake cases. I just take enough. But I don't have I can't tell you I work every day from 9 to 5. I mean, some days I work from 7 to 12 o'clock noon. I'm off for the rest of the day. So the schedule will change. But I do take calls every day or text messages up till about 8 o'clock at night every night, because there's always something going on somewhere.
Yeah. Hmm.
That's like job security, right? I
Oh
mean,
yeah, yeah.
35 all these years.
Yeah, it's like Detective Gomez. Can you trace his phone number? Detective Gomez, can you find this person? Detective Gomez, my son got arrested. Can you find out what jail he's in? Or yeah, sure, I'll help you. I'll help you. But there's all kinds of little requests that comes in on a regular basis.
Yeah. If you were not an actor, or if you were not a private investigator, what do you think you would be doing?
I'd probably be doing some counseling, like family
Really?
counseling. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Okay.
I think I would enjoy that. Talking to people about their different issues and problems and how to, either save their relationships with their family or spouses or something.
I can see that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can see. Yeah, I can see that for
Especially
sure.
after everything that you have witnessed and experienced too.
Oh,
It
yeah.
gives you that much more knowledge and understanding about situations.
Yeah, it helps a whole lot. I mean, a lot of um, situations where I think some can be saved, some can't, but it all depends on each party and how they're willing to reconcile and try to make things work out.
So does with everything that you go through as far as finding families and finding, all of that, does it make your relationships with your family stronger?
It makes them stronger, but it makes me wiser on how, um, I come with, because not every family's perfect. So you're going to have some
Right,
days
for
where
sure.
you have good days and bad days, but I would always be if we disagreed on something, I'd be the first one to come up and say, hey, by the way, I know the other day I came off a little strong, but hey, I still love you. You're still my sister.
For sure.
So
Yeah.
I apologize. I'm sorry. And I'll say
Nice.
it. I'm not afraid to say I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. And mind you, a lot of men are. A lot of men are afraid to say, not afraid to say I'm sorry, they just won't.
Yeah.
So kudos to you for
Yeah.
being able to say you're sorry and recognizing it. So
Hmm.
that's amazing. Um, do you have Anything that you would say to your younger self?
What would you
Um,
change?
to my younger self, I'd probably say, make the movie earlier. Don't wait so long. Because I probably should have made this movie like 5 years ago, probably.
You think
But
so?
yeah, I think I could have made this about 5 years ago.
Yeah,
But
but you did it now, and that's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
yeah,
Better late than never.
yeah. No, no, you're right. I saw it's our friend Stallone, right? I saw something on YouTube the other day, and he goes, something, if you're going to do something in life, do it now while you can, because it's better to fail now than to fail when you're 80 years old and you can't do it.
Right.
Or you're at 80 years old, you said, I should have done this, I should have
Regretting
done
it.
that.
Right.
But if you fail at this time, if you fail and it doesn't work out, then you know that you at least tempted to try to do it. But if you don't ever do it, it's always going to be in your mind like, yeah, I should have done this, but I didn't do it. Do
Yeah.
it. So at least if you failed, and if you're successful, it's even better. But at least
Yeah.
you tried to do it, because you don't want to wait till you're at an age where you can't do it, and you go, well, I should have done this or I should have done that. But hey, if it fails, at least you did what you wanted to do.
Absolutely. That's amazing. Yeah. I always tell everybody that you're never too young and you're never too old to do something. Like, you see there's 80-year-olds out there going to school. There's 70-year-olds out there singing. There's 60-year-olds out there starting a business. So I feel like you're never too young or you're never too old to do something. So I'm so proud of you and so proud of everything that you're doing and so proud of the movie. And just, I'm so thankful that Ricky connected us. And
Yeah.
he's such an amazing cat.
Yeah, Ricky he's connected in so many ways. It's unbelievable. I will mention this to you real quick. Another thing that inspired me a whole lot about making the movie. I read an article probably about a year ago about Latinos not being represented in Hollywood, and there's a big
That's very
pushback on that, because Latinos are constantly getting stereotyped as, oh, well, let's put another Cholo movie together. Let's make a,
Right.
He parks cars, or he does that, that. And I was like, something, I think I'm going to challenge it. I'm going to be, instead of being that particular stereotype, I'm going to be a private investigator playing a lead in a movie and having it produced by a Latino, because there's just not enough Latino movies anyway, but there's not the representation's not there.
It's not. Yeah. And you know who is a big supporter in that is John. I think it's John Leguizamo.
Like example, yeah, he's very,
Yeah.
very like. There's not of it. So that also inspired me also to put the movie together. And I have Estella Treviso. She plays the lead in the movie. Tristan Trujillo, he plays the lead in my movie. And so we have enough Latino representation in the movie to show that us Latinos can actually do it and put a movie together and play the leads. And besides a stereotype of what sometimes what Hollywood thinks of us.
Yeah, for sure. And I agree. Like, there's not enough representation out there. And, or if they put us in a movie or put a Latino in a movie, it's always like as a gardener, or it's always as something. It's always something like redundant, and it's not okay. So I understand what you're saying. So thank you for making a movie and having Latinos as leads and stuff. So that's amazing. So if you make a part 2, we know that there's going to be Latinos as leads. So we appreciate that.
That's right.
Yeah. So again, I am really thankful that Ricky introduced us and that we have you on the podcast, because Ricky is such an amazing human and he has his hands in so many different things. And I love that he's representing you. And he's just such. Yes. Yeah. To be the blessing. And we've known each other, like I said, since I was like 17 years old, and he's just amazing.
I've known him forever.
I know. I'm surprised we haven't run across each other since we've known each other for so long.
Yeah, we probably have somewhere.
We probably have, and we just don't remember, just because, like I said, me and Ricky have known each other since I was a tot. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I will tell you this, that the movie is called Wong Place, Wong Time. WONG. And there's a bad guy in the movie named Mr. Wong. So he wants to come back and kick my butt. Yeah.
I
So
love it. Everybody, you have to go out and see this movie. It's on Amazon Prime. It is also on Apple TV, right?
Apple Plus TV,
Apple Plus TV. And where else is it on?
YouTube TV, and Google Play. And our distributors working a deal right now for it to start streaming on Tubi at the end of September.
Nice. You can get it on all those platforms, you guys. I am so elated that you have come on the show today.
Yes.
You are welcome here anytime, especially when you have a part two. We're going to be looking for a part two. And anytime you want to come on, you are more than welcome. Is there anything that you would like to say to your fans and our listeners as we head out?
I'd just like to say this, it just, support us Latinos and what we're doing, and trust that trust the process in your investigation. When it comes to,
I like
on a
that. Yes.
personal level,
Yes.
it does take a little time. It's an investigation, just like a police investigation. So just try to understand that. And
And props to you
we're
for
more than glad to help you.
showing. Yeah.
Yeah. And visit me at detectivegomez.com. That's my website.
There you go.
Got it. Okay. Done deal. Thank you again so much for joining us. We
No problem.
thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. You are welcome here anytime. And I know that your movie is going to do such great things like it already is. And you're just so blessed, and God is walking with you at all times. And just know that we love you here. And again, you're welcome here anytime.
Thank you, ladies. I appreciate it.
Thank you
Blessings
so,
to
so
you. You have
much.
a good evening.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Blessings. Bye bye.
Yes. Thank you so much.
He's so amazing.
Very humble.
Very,
Very.
very humble. Love it. Love it. I can't wait to see how his movie's going to do. It's already doing so amazing, and I can't wait to see if he's going to do a part two. It's going to be so
Yes.
good.
He's all about the good guys and the bad guys. It always has to be a good guy at the end. I love it.
And that he has Latina and Latino representation. That's
Yes,
so amazing.
that is, and he's
So,
so right about that because it does take, where Latinos represent just a minimal
right,
percentage of being on that platform. So
for sure.
props to him.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you to Alcantar Music for being our sponsor and for believing in our vision. We love you so much for that. For we are two God-fearing women, and we believe in our Lord and Savior, and we are not afraid to talk about it. So thank you so much. Join us tomorrow as we have a very special guest, and we look forward to seeing you all. Know that God is walking with you, and He is walking by your side each and every day. And we love each and every one of you. And thank you to the third annual Country Music Awards as we were on the top five. So thank you
Bye.
so much. We love you, and we will see you tomorrow.